Welcome back to Nightcap Chat, the pop culture podcast for all things comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and more. Today we are talking WandaVision, episode 5. I'm Blade O'Neill.
I'm Ken Brown.
I'm Lance O'Neill.
And before we dive into it, just want to thank you all for listening to Nightcap Chat and joining us on this wonderful journey, especially over the last few weeks as we have been mostly covering WandaVision, but we certainly do not regret it because this show has just been absolutely incredible and really excited to talk about that. But before we dive into that, we have something very, very important to tell all of you listeners out there. I need all of you, listen to me very carefully. I need all of you to mark your calendars for this Friday. Okay, at I think 8 p.m. Central, so 7 Mountain. I think I'm gonna post that for sure time because I was not prepared on a time. I'll admit that, but it's gonna be in this description and there's going to be a link to the Facebook page for Sidekicks. Okay, they are hosting the Ink and Paint show, which is hosted by Jay and Steve C, who has been on Nightcap. They've both been on Nightcap Chat. Jay on our Star Wars episode, and Steve has been on several times. This Friday is the ultimate showdown. Okay, it is going to be Steve versus Blade. That's me. Okay, in Disney Plus. This is a Disney Plus showdown. This is going to be a contest.
I thought it was just great. You had to qualify yourself. That's me.
That's me. Just in case, I don't expect people.
In case you know of another Blade that does stuff like this,
like Nightcap Chat, because there's another Blade. But Steve, if you are listening, and I know you are, because that's the kind of person you are. You're seeing like what is Blade doing? What is he doing behind the scenes? He's back there and he's training. And I am training, and I'm ready. When this Friday comes, there will be no mercy, for there is no mercy in war. I am talking scorched earth. Steve, you're coming into my house, the House of Mouse. And you can't come into my house and tell me my gravy is jelly, because gravy ain't sweet. This Friday, if and when you show up, it is going down.
If and when he shows up, are you saying he's not going to show up?
I'm saying if he decides to show up, because it would be foolish to go against me, but I know he will.
Dude, I've seen Blade running in place in Adidas shorts and a tank top and a headband watching Disney Plus with Gatorade going down his throat, sweat everywhere, and he's memorizing every single line from every single Disney Plus show that airs on streaming internet.
And you know how
I don't know. Steve's got no chance, man. No chance.
No way. And when I drink raw eggs just to keep it in my mind.
Absolutely.
Because eggs have protein, right? So the protein goes straight to your brain. So while you're watching
that's not how that I've seen you mix blueberries and broccoli and spinach in with your egg with the blender.
It is because the protein goes to your brain, and as your eyes, which are next to your brain, are absorbing the Disney Plus, it goes into your brain together, and it stays better.
That's not that way.
I'm pretty sure. I saw a YouTube video.
Good fats are good for your brain.
I'm eating good fats. I just finished a whole bottle of olive oil, and I bought another.
You drinking it straight from?
No, I'm just cooking. I'm cooking everything, and I'm just drowning it in olive oil. I'm drinking vinegar.
Apple cider vinegar.
Cashews might be better, that might be a little healthier.
I don't like nuts.
It's not a nut, it's a lagoon.
I don't like legumes either. So that's what's going on this Friday. So it's going to be a good time. It's going to be so much fun. So come out, show your support, be Team Blade. Don't you come out for Team Steve. Do not do that. This is hashtag Team Blade. If you watch Nightcap Chat, you are Team Blade. So come in there. It's going to be hilarious. So don't forget. Go ahead and pause Nightcap Chat right now. Go to that link, like that Facebook page, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss it this Friday. Okay? All right. It's going down.
This is must see Facebook TV this Friday.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And obviously, I'll share it on Nightcap Chat too. But just so you don't miss it live, that's what's happening. So on to other things now. WandaVision, episode 5. Oh my gosh! Like this. Talk about it. Everything keeps getting better.
Yes.
I don't think 4 was keep getting better. 4 was really good, but this is definitely the best episode yet.
Yeah, I don't think that's even a big statement. I think that's just what it is. It was a huge episode, and I think it's gonna keep getting bigger from here on out.
I'm still speechless about everything I saw. Oh my gosh, dude, that ending opened up that Pandora's box that before we get too far ahead, the MC universe had a little bit of an earthquake. Fell all the way through to our living room after seeing what happened in that last scene of WandaVision episode 5.
Yeah, I almost fell out of my chair. But I was, yes, very, very close. No exaggeration. Yes, there's so much. I don't even know where to begin. I guess in the beginning of the episode, it seems that Agnes is aware that she's in this TV show and she's playing along. So that was really interesting.
Yeah, she broke the proverbial fourth wall of everything going on there. I mean, she pulled a Deadpool.
Sure.
She knows she's in the show.
And only Vision was able to like power through that. So I think that really says something about that character. So it's holding up that she could be Agatha Harkness, right?
Yeah, she was the ally that trying to help Scarlet Witch through her her ability of how to use her powers to its maximum.
And the other question is, though, then who is the other guy? Because he knew also. The guy that was trimming the hedges, then he started trimming the wall with the hedge trimmer.
Yeah.
Because he was aware, too.
He seemed aware.
Yes.
Or is everyone just going to start becoming aware because it's a lot of...
people... So here's the thing, though. People are aware. It's just they haven't been able to show it. Like when you have... when Vision goes back to work, and I think, what is the guy's name is Ned? Is that what his name is?
I don't
know. And Vision touches his temples and makes him like snap out of Wanda's control, and then he goes, "Please make her stop." Like, so he's cognizant of what's happening. He just doesn't necessarily have control of what he's doing. I guess that makes sense. He's almost taken captive. Like he knows what's going on. He just can't do anything about it.
Yeah, he's a prisoner of Wanda, clearly, on that type of thing. And I like how, the Vision must be obviously real. I guess they showed that aspect too, where there's the footage of her going and taking the body of Vision.
Which was crazy. We did say that last episode, how, what did she do? She had to go in there and must have stolen his body, and his body was disassembled, and
that looks straight out of West Coast Avengers.
It was disturbing. It was like, you're doing that and you're showing it. Whoa.
Yep.
So it's straight out of what?
West Coast Avengers.
Okay.
I want to say it was like issue 44 or 45. It was during the John Byrne run of West Coast Avengers. It started in issue 42 and it went to about issue 50 when they concluded that storyline. And then after that was Scarlet Witch slowly sliding into being a villain again for a while. That storyline was called Darker Than Scarlet.
Okay.
And so I kind of felt like that was straight out of that West Coast Avengers story, where there was that scene where, they got, "Where's my husband?" And they got into contact. Scarlet Witch was brought there and says, "We have your husband." And they bring her into a room, and the Vision is completely disassembled and spread out on a gurney to try to study every little diode or cell or every little microchip of the Vision.
Wow.
And she's all like, "What are you doing?" "Well, we're trying to figure out how it works." And it's crazy. So they can duplicate his technology into their other resources that they can use for themselves. And she goes, "We'll put him back together." And when they put him back together, he had no memory of who Scarlet Witch was after that. So it was kind of they had to find a way to get Vision memories back of he had no memory of Scarlet Witch or the relationship of being married after they reassembled him, and that kind of pissed off Scarlet Witch, to say the least.
Which is interesting because he doesn't necessarily remember. He said he doesn't remember stuff before this and how he got there. So is he alive?
I think so. What I'm thinking is she gets his body and then brings it into her little dimension world thing, right? Now, we know when Rambeau went in, she went in with a Kevlar vest. When she came out, her pants were also made out of Kevlar, right?
Mm-hmm.
They were bulletproof.
But
they were pants.
All these explanations too,
okay,
by the way.
But she brings Vision into the world.
Okay.
She has his parts, and she's just going to make him into what she wants, which is the Vision. So she essentially put him back together, in my opinion. The same thing how, she's not necessarily creating things or creating life. She's taking what's there and just making it into something else. So she took his parts and just made him into what he used to be.
Okay. So does that
I think he's going to then, since he doesn't remember who he is, he's going to change who he is, and he's going to turn to Wonder Man.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
So, in I think it was the last episode or the episode before when she has that flash of him and like he has his dead face with the stone ripped out of his head. Is that real? And she had to put it back.
Last episode I said I think that's what it is, and she's kind of puppeting him.
Mm-hmm.
But is it that, or is it that she's just kind of having flashbacks, or is it like PTSD? It's like more like a PTSD kind of a thing.
Here's something to consider. He is aware of what's going on, and he fought with Wanda about it. If he was purely a puppet, he would not be thinking for himself to that extent.
True.
Everybody that's in this, supposedly it's been revealed that Scarlet Witch controls everything inside of her environment. So, yet there seems to be somehow the free thinking ability of like Vision, obviously, and the neighbors, obviously, like, that when they said the fact of like that, oh man, he doesn't know. So there's some free thinking ability there, obviously, too, as well. And at the same time, though, when he went to work and he saw through the facade of his co-worker and touched him, the guy was freed of his mind control of Scarlet Witch putting words into his mouth at every moment. Do you know what I mean? So Scarlet Witch, technically, we have to still believe that Scarlet Witch is maintaining this whole environment on herself. And so she having more or less an ego-id conflict in her own brain of what she's doing is wrong and how to correct it.
Mm-hmm.
And Vision she's speaking through Vision with her ego side of herself rather than her id side of herself, or vice versa. Do you know what I mean?
So
she's trying to snap herself. She's snapping herself out of her own hex in a way by reasoning through Vision, trying to keep her stable from going completely full nutcase. Do you know what I mean?
Interesting theory.
I think she started it, and she's now being manipulated in other ways. Because she kept saying at the end of the episode, like, I don't have control of all of this. It's not me. And then...
Well, she said, I don't know how this started either.
Mm-hmm.
I think she could have started it just from her own, like, traumatic, like, not knowing how to deal with it, and it kind of just happened. But I think it got the attention like a Kang or a Mephisto or whatever, and they're just trying to make it as worse as possible.
What if somebody else, quote, started it and was showing her, like, imagine what life could be, whatever you want. And it's just, they're baiting her for some reason that we don't know of into doing this.
So one thing that's interesting, though, is that she kept saying, you can't bring back life. You can't do that. Because basically she's saying you can't play God.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like a mad blowing thought or mind blowing thought on this whole deal too. Like, you guys read the Onslaught saga, right?
The Onslaught saga, yeah, but
Okay.
like a while ago.
Okay. Professor X saw Magneto strip at Wolverine's adamantium out of his bones and put Professor X then shut down Magneto's mind, and he thought Magneto was just a vegetable at that point. Professor X stole Magneto's psyche, put it inside of his own head, and eventually the two psyches fought until a third psyche took precedence, which became Onslaught. And that third psyche was more or less a combination of both of their psyches and eventually physically manifested itself into its own being called Onslaught on its own. Okay. Now, what if Scarlet Witch's more or less reality has a similar effect where it's taken on a life of its own that she can't control because she's done it so perfectly and so, you know, she doesn't even know that she can actually create realities that she can't control, because of once she creates it and thinks it is no longer completely her 110% control. It can grow a life of its own. Do you know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah. So you're saying this general concept can eventually lay the groundwork for Onslaught?
No, she's created something that she thinks she can control, but it's taken on a life of it.
Like her own, yes, like subconsciousness.
Like she didn't want them to grow to be 10. She tried stopping it. But just because she thinks she's in control, if she creates it, she's creating life, and the life has its own decision-making process as well that she may not realize that she's not controlling. And right, that's why it's starting to puzzle her. It's like, I didn't do that, but she thought about it and she gave it life, and now that life is here and it's got a thing of its own that she can or cannot control all the time. She thinks she can, but the things that she's creating are lives of their own. Like the people that are in there, she can control that guy because she brought him in. And he was the life before being brought in, and she's trying to more or less manipulate that reality of that life because it's reality. But if she's creating things in her own reality and giving them life, she may not have complete control over it because it's a life of its own now.
I can see that, like, because through her like subconscious, she's like doing things, but she doesn't really realize she's doing it. Like the whole thing with, you know, the dog dying and her trying to explain to her kids, like, you can't, like I was saying before, you can't play God. When somebody dies, they have to die, and that's forever, right? Which is telling you that she probably does have the ability to bring somebody back to life, because she's saying you can't do that, as if I could do it, but I'm not going to because it's wrong, which is interesting. And then after she says that, obviously, what then happens? She's talking about, she's like, no, that when she's talking about the dog, she's thinking about her brother, right? When somebody dies, or Vision, once they die, you can't do that. Like, that's not okay.
Well, here's a question based on all of that. Where did the twins come from?
The same way they were born in the comics.
Yeah.
The life essence of Mephisto has to be.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it doesn't have to be Mephisto. It could be another person if they want to change it. But I think it had to be from something like that,
or like pulled from like the future, like an alternate reality.
Yes.
But here's another
one like that. Go ahead.
One other thing. They did mention in that episode. Well, Vision mentioned it. He said, "Where are all the children in the town? There are no children in the town." So what happened also to all those children? And remember, in the second episode, there was that weird chanting about for the children. So did she go in there and take all the kids out? What happened to all those kids? Are they going to be mutants? Did she somehow take the life essence of all the kids and make them into her own kids? Like, what is the deal with the kids?
Yes.
Are those all, did she send them all to upstate New York and they're all going to be X-Men? Like, where are they?
Yeah, I said too, there's so many things that are good questions to answer here. And like the something that, once again, too, just hinting at the end with like Quicksilver showing up at the end, it was the alternate realities, Quicksilver, correct?
Right.
Well,
so
the alternate universe Quicksilver too.
Now her power is reality manipulation, right?
Yep.
Now, can she pull people from other realities and bring them into her reality and not even realize that she's doing that?
That's what I'm thinking.
Or if another thing I was thinking about too is, okay, if there's multiple realities, there's got to be multiple realities of Scarlet Witch as well.
Yes.
And so what if they can see into her reality and her struggle, and Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and the Brotherhood of Evil is looking for opportunities to pull themselves into another reality they can manipulate.
And we also know there has to be another Scarlet Witch, because when he shows up, he's like, hey, sis, like he knows who she is. It's not like, oh, they don't really know. Like, he's like, oh, you're my sister.
Mm-hmm. Well, and isn't the Doctor Strange movie have to deal with Scarlet Witch as well?
Yes. It very much has. I mean, she's in it. It has so much to do.
And then Spider-Verse spins off right after that as well.
Mm-hmm.
So we obviously have Scarlet Witch is the one that opened up the multiverse through this TV show.
And don't forget, Loki is time traveling during all this, so it will also probably have some sort of effect.
Mm-hmm.
So when she pulls, or when Quicksilver is pulled through, I sincerely think that she didn't know who it was. I don't think she was lying about that.
Yeah,
I don't either.
She's never met that Quicksilver.
So yeah. I still think someone like Mephisto is working behind the scenes, and he pulled somebody from another. Well, Quicksilver from another.
But does he have that ability? That's just Scarlet Witch's power, not Mephisto's power.
I would think it would be more of like a Kang thing or a Loki thing.
Because Mephisto can only manipulate this reality's underworld, not any other realities. And Scarlet Witch has got the ability to manipulate reality.
Okay, well then, what if he's somehow able to use her powers?
I could see that. Like he's using her to open up realities to.
Sure. Oh, because he has
to
other
create
intentions,
chaos.
And he's keeping her distracted, but he's able to use her power somehow. Because if somebody like Mephisto is behind this, he has to be gaining something out of this, right? I mean, we don't know what that is.
I still see the thing too. Like I still think we got Magneto. Just think, here's a weird theory that just popped in my head too.
Mm-hmm.
Magneto's in a world that hates mutants right now, correct?
Sure.
Okay.
A Magneto.
Magneto sees this alternate reality through Scarlet Witch on her side where there is no mutant. It's a second chance to take over a world, or a second chance for mutants not to be hated, because these Avengers are heroes. They have powers, and they're like more or less. Do you know what I mean? They're heroes. He's looking at a world where heroes are respected and loved. And Magneto's never been a pure villain. He's always been like, oh, this world is lost that I'm in. And he sees Scarlet Witch through the other Scarlet Witch avatar as, wow, she's a hero. Look at this. She's a mutant and she's a hero. What about an opportunity for us to witness through this dimension a second chance for mutants to be respected and loved, almost like the Ultimate Universe X-Men was? Because in the Ultimate X-Men, they were all heroes. They were, they were magazine star cover people. They were reality TV shows about them. The Ultimate X-Men were almost revered as mutants rather than feared as mutants in the original Ultimate X-Men start. So Magneto and Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver see this opportunity through the Scarlet Witch of the MCU universe as a chance to redeem themselves and bring mutants into a world where they're not going to be hated or feared. They're going to be welcomed and embraced.
But here's the thing, though. If Scarlet Witch brings people in, like let's just say, for example, she opens up the dimension and a lot of the mutants come into our universe, because the leader of SWORD is labeling her as a terrorist.
Yes.
Is he then going to label every single person that is with her, every mutant that comes through, saying, hey, you're one of us? And then they're going to now all be labeled as terrorists and all these bad people. And then you're back to square one where all these mutants are now bad people, but they're separated from superheroes. Because she's right now separated from the Avengers. Like in that guy's eye, he's like, no, she's not an Avenger. She's a terrorist. The other people were superheroes. But everyone else is like, no, she's an Avenger. She's a good guy.
But that's the hints, because that's what they used to call mutant terrorists in the X-Men movies, right? And I'm thinking this guy, remember I said I didn't feel comfortable about that guy that was the leader of SWORD in the last episode?
Yep.
Right.
I think that he's this MC Universe's version of Stryker.
Yeah, I can see.
Like kind of like a Friends of Humanity kind of character.
Yeah, something happened to someone in his family where he blamed Scarlet Witch or Quicksilver during the Age of Ultron. And you're probably going to see that happen.
And what was the commercial in this episode?
Yes.
Lagos,
which is where she blew up the thing.
Yep.
Yeah, but she blew up what's his name tried killing Captain America.
Yeah. Oh,
so
Ken.
That's why I think it reminds me of the whole Stryker Creed type of thing too, because there was a senator back in X Factor back in the days where Creed, he was the son of Creed, who was Sabretooth, and he was a mutant, and he couldn't stand. He tried hiding the fact he was the son of a mutant. But that's like, once again, it's a different plot line. That's not what's happening here, but something similar to that plot of where he lost someone because of Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver in that Lago disaster during Age of Ultron.
Okay.
And that's why he's trying to find Scarlet Witch, because Ultron's gone and Quicksilver's gone. She's the last piece that's a threat to humanity in his eyes.
Wow. Yeah. And you said he was bad, and it's becoming much more.
That wasn't Age of Ultron, that was Civil War.
Civil War, okay.
Sorry. Yeah.
I
was just going through in my head, yeah. No, I know we knew, I just didn't want people like listening like, you're wrong,
Yes. As our fanboys wants to do.
Because when Scarlet Witch came out in that scene, that was a life echo of the X-Men scene when they approached Magneto with all the soldiers, and Magneto turned all the guns pointed at him, took them out of their hands and pointed it at the soldiers and said, you really don't want, I can't remember what he said exactly.
You Homo sapiens and your guns.
Mm-hmm. And Scarlet Witch almost did the exact same thing there.
Wow.
Except with her own words, but all the little red target sensors were on all the soldiers that were aiming at her.
Yes.
So that was straight a life echo out of the X-Men movies.
And I love that scene too. I didn't even think about that. That's awesome.
But that was mind blowing.
To kind of play off what you guys are theorizing here, I agree with it, but I'm going to go ahead and predict how this is going to end here.
Can I say I'm having my Lance moment happening if this happens the way that I hope it happens? I hope you're going to say the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that. Like Lance, you rubbed off on me. Remember when I said like the thing you want to see at the end of the season? What's the most amazing thing you'd like to see? Do you guys remember my answer?
Magneto.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I think we might get it.
Yeah, I think so too. And I was right there with you. Like I want Magneto, mutants, like something like that. And it's happening.
I wanted Quicksilver. And I got him.
Yep.
So I want a special thanks to Lance for rubbing off some of your predictability on me.
You got a little bit of that crystal ball power.
Yes.
So here's my crystal ball here is what you guys are saying with, like there's, these mutants are going to appear, right? They're going to be labeled terrorists or whatever. What I think I can see happen is I don't think the mutants are going to come from another reality or anything. I think they're going to be created after this, whether or not this Quicksilver stays from the Fox universe. I think they're going to be created because, as Lance speculated, when Photon got shot out of the bubble,
yes.
We saw in this episode that she probably has her photon powers, because when they scanned her, she was a shadow. There was nothing. They couldn't get her blood work. No photon.
She was light,
pure light, right? So that's
when they scanned her, it was all white. She was just light.
So you were right. She did get created. What was the formula here? She was in the bubble, and she got zapped by Scarlet Witch. Now I think at the end of this, calling it right now, she's gonna have a meltdown. This bubble is going to span the world, and her powers are going to shoot out, kind of like at the end of Age of Ultron when she destroyed all those Ultron robots and she freaked out when Quicksilver died or whatever. It's going to be that times 1,000,000. It's just going to devour the world in this bubble and Scarlet Witch powers, and it's going to grant like a certain part of the population mutant abilities, and mutants are going to be created from there.
Can I make a definition based off of what you're saying, though?
Of course.
In the Marvel Universe, mutants are people born with their powers. Mutates are people that were given their powers through some excruciating event, like Spider-Man with the radioactive spider. Photon being pushed through, she's technically a mutate rather than a mutant. But based off of your theory, that mutating of the DNA of the people that are already here, the kids being born forward become the first mutants, like her own kids were the first mutants created inside of the bubble.
Then
the
maybe,
twins.
And maybe
so the twins are the first mutant that are here on Earth because she created them from her own likeness.
And how about what if the people who are affected by this, like they run tests and figure out like why did some people get it, why did other people not? They have the X gene.
Yes.
Or they had the blip.
Oh, the blip too,
because she was blipped.
Mm-hmm. So the mutates are here that are developing the potential for the mutants to arrive. This next generation.
Interesting.
And technically, Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were the first two on Earth, too, technically, because they were the miracles. Remember, they didn't know what to call them because there was nothing that matched their DNA in the first place.
Yep.
Because they were the only ones that survived the tests.
And, oh my gosh, and it was because of the Mind Stone that unlocked their power. So if that's the Mind Stone, that's gamma rays, according to the show, right? So if it's people who were blipped, they were all exposed to that gamma.
Mm-hmm.
So X gene.
But the gamma rays are also coming from her bubble. They said there's gamma radiation.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. It's going to engulf the world.
That'd be awesome. Because it's exactly reverse. Yeah. It's the exact reverse of the decimation after House of. It's the mutation of the decimation of.
Yeah. Interesting. So there's something I noticed about the episode. I'm curious if you guys noticed that. And I haven't seen anybody talking about this. Go back and just like watch a little bit of it if you haven't noticed this. If you look at anywhere where there's like light or just like there was a weird like effect on the camera, everything had a very subtle like red glow on the outside of it. It's more apparent when there's like a light on something or the way certain things move, but there's like a slight red glow. And so I'm wondering if it's like her starting to not have as much control on the reality. It's subtle, but it's there. And once you notice it, you start noticing it like all over the screen. It's like a weird kind of camera trick almost thing that they do. Did you guys notice that?
I thought it was just how they were trying to shoot the episode.
Yeah, but it was red. Maybe I'm overlooking it, but I don't know.
One thing I do want to say though, how funny is it that the beginning of that episode, the house looks like Full House.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
that's
family
exactly what I said when I started.
And she has twins, so like her sisters were in Full House as twins, and now she's like doing a show. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, the Olsen twins. She's the sister of the Olsen twin.
Mm-hmm.
That is epic.
I thought that as soon as the episode started.
I loved how Vision was like very much like the Mr. Keaton from Family Ties too, as well.
Okay.
And then she was like trying to do her best Meredith Baxter Burney type of thing too, as well. It's like that. I love the mix. Supposedly there was 3 shows they were saying they're mixing in. It was like Full House, Growing Pains, and Family Ties. It's like they hit nails. I mean, the scenes in the show like were so 80s TV show house, which was great.
Yes. Yeah. 100%. They're just nailing it every single time. I'm really looking forward to what the 90s one's going to be.
Yeah, what's going to happen next?
You know what was interesting when Rambo walked up to Wanda, I was waiting to see if she was going to hit her, and like she didn't find out that she has powers. I wonder how long it's going to take for her to realize that, you know, she has some type of, you know, ability.
Huh. You notice that they mentioned Carol Danvers being exposed, got her powers from the Space Stone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
She wanted to brush her off. And maybe I'm going off the rails a little too much here. If she got her powers from the Space Stone, Wanda got it from the Mind Stone. We have Jane Foster going to be Thor in the next Thor movie, and she had the Reality Stone within her, right, before they brought it back. We had 2 people who were sacrificed for the Soul Stone, plus the Red Skull is in there, or next to it, or whatever he's doing. What else?
Vision?
No. Well, yes, he had the Mind Stone too. Star-Lord had the Power Stone, in him, and so did all the Guardians. Like, yeah, I almost wonder if this is going somewhere, if they're going to bring back the Infinity Stones through all these really powerful people. Yeah. You see where I'm kind of going? Like, there's so many stones that people's powers were contingent upon.
That they can almost like remanufacture stones out of the powers of the people.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
I don't know about that. I don't know. That's interesting, I bet.
Huh?
Can you imagine if they're just teasing us with this whole episode here? Just the interest would be in bringing in the X-Men now, and they had no intention on it. They just wanted to feel, like, get a pulse, like a vibe on the pulse of the fans talking on social media and the internet after that episode of whether we're ready for the X-Men yet, whether it was too soon. And they just kind of teased us with this whole Quicksilver actor. Do you know what I mean? From Fox. I think there's no way that would be that simple. But it was just look how much people are talking about just this one episode opening up that Pandora's box that the X-Men are here.
I think everybody's excited. I mean, like, mutants have been a long time coming ever since the Fox deal.
But has it though? I mean, it's been since the year 1999 or 2000 when the first X-Men movie was here, and we went 19 years of bad X-Men movies. We've only waited like less than a year. We're like uber excited already.
Yeah, because that's exactly it. Because of 20 years, we're excited to see some good X-Men movies. That's exactly right. I know a lot of people were excited that it was the Fox Quicksilver. I like the other guy better. But I guess I get it. He was funny, right? Although he was way too fast. Way too fast.
Yeah, I don't. I like the other guy. I like the original guy from the MCU better. But you know what I'm thinking too? You know how you're saying it's going to make all the mutants too? But what if that also makes the Fantastic Four? Like, her bubble gets so big, it goes to outer space, and they're in outer space, like, working on something. They're like, and then they also get their powers.
They added that there was a scientist that they were talking about in the episode, correct? That Monica announced or was talking to, like,
an aerospace engineer.
Yes. Now, is that Adam Brashear, the Blue Marvel? I think that could be possibly Richards, because Adam Brashear she worked with in the Ultimates comic series, the most recent one, where the Ultimates were now part of the Marvel universe, where they were just the top of all their fields. They'd call them the Ultimates for that reason, rather than the Ultimates of the Avengers from the original Ultimate universe.
That's a good theory. I mean, I'd say no to Reed Richards though, because I don't think he'd be relegated just to an aerospace engine. I'm not saying just, but like I think he's a different kind of scientist, if I'm not mistaken.
So much
he got
more.
a drone from this aerospace engineer person. I could see it being like Falcon, right? But did they call it? Was he ever that?
I don't know, because did he make his own technology, Falcon, stuff like that, or was it just something that was made by someone else that he had access to?
I don't know. In the more recent, like, cartoons and stuff, they've been making Falcon like being as smart as like Tony Stark and making his own stuff. Okay. So I don't know if they're going to push that angle, but I guess they could. But I don't think they've really shown that in the MCU. He's just really been like a military guy that just used to use these wings and do secret missions and stuff.
Yeah, the Blue Marvel things. I'm not familiar with that character. So it's a good theory.
Yeah, Adam Brashear is just like a brilliant scientist that is at Reed Richards type of level intelligence. He just loves hacking science as much as he possibly can as well. So it's like I said too, it's like almost like another Richards quality superhero that was around beat during he's African American, and he was a Superman era. The world wasn't ready for superheroes yet.
Mm-hmm.
He would spend his time going into science as well, and became like a brilliant scientist as well. He had to mask himself, but he was the blue back in the day. So it's kind of like a Century type of thing, like where they created a character that used to be a superhero. The world wasn't ready. The Century was a character that I guess for whatever reason forgot his memories, if I remember correctly. The Century.
Oh man, no, I have no idea. Century.
One thing I think is kind of interesting is, I know we talked about last episode about, Rambo's mom's, nickname was Photon, and they showed that, and it was like, oh, a little Easter egg. I'm thinking, they probably, she's going to have her powers and she's going to be called Photon after her mom. But Photon was actually, named, Ms. Marvel for a little bit, and then she lost the name and she went back to herself. But she also, when they mentioned Carol Danvers, she got mad and was like, don't mention, like, we're not talking about her. Now, what I'm thinking, like Blade was saying with the radiation, is I'm wondering if she thinks that Captain Marvel gave her mom cancer because she was hanging out with her, and she's always like, she's powered from a stone, and she probably like emits radiation, so she probably blames her for giving her mom cancer.
Wow. That's a good theory. Oh, because I was wondering, why would she be mad at us?
So that's going to be like a Civil War II thing, lead up to Civil War II, oh, I don't like you, or a Defenders Avengers type thing, or Dark Avengers and regular Avengers. I was thinking of a different character that could be manipulating Scarlet Witch. And the only thing I can really think of is like, and it would kind of make sense since they've like used him kind of, is Dormammu. See, instead of having Mephisto, you just use Dormammu to kind of replace, take his place. And then he would be perfect because Doctor Strange 2 would make sense that Dormammu is involved, and like Dormammu knows of Doctor Strange now because of what he did to him in the first movie, and I'm sure he's not happy about it. Well, he's not happy about it. He was getting pissed off.
So he's trying to get free by Scarlet Witch.
Right, he's always trying to take over the dimension.
Still Mephisto, who's a puppet of Dormammu, and he's doing that. That's the selfish intentions. Is okay. I can get her to pull beings from other dimensions. I just have to trick her into pulling Dormammu from the dark dimension.
Mephisto. Even say you're like, we're going into the Doctor Strange movie too, right?
Yeah.
So what's Scarlet Witch's life been ever since she's been on
nightmare?
Earth? Exactly.
Yeah.
And he's helping her try to like, okay, you know what? You've lived your nightmare. Now let's make your dreams a nightmare for the rest of reality.
Interesting. I'm okay with it being nightmare as long as we still get Mephisto somewhere else.
And Mephisto will come along. I mean, he's too key of a player. I think of Mephisto as like a Thanos character that you could really play around with really, really effectively for a long time. And if Scarlet Witch is the road to that, that's awesome too. I mean, it's just like there's multiple forces at work, and why not Mephisto be one of the forces?
Yeah, that would be great. Any other thoughts before we wrap this up? Anything we did not touch on?
Another awesome, fun show, you guys, dude. If you're not listening to this, you guys, I don't know what else we need to do to make this fun for you guys. This is awesome.
Yes, we're having a lot of fun.
Hope you don't mind us tooting our own horn there, but that was really fun.
Okay, that's what this is all about. Lance, do you have anything?
I thought there was one more thing, but I can't really think of it. Not that I don't think it was anything like super important. But no, I think that's it.
Did you guys see the Winter Soldier trailer?
Yes.
No. Yes, dude. It looked pretty awesome.
It definitely looked better than the first trailer. Yes, it looks like it's going to be a little funny, and it's not like, I like that they showed that they don't really get along, which I kind of like, instead of it being like, oh, like the typical like Captain America and Bucky like best friends thing. It's like they don't
Really
really
like a
get
buddy
along.
cop TV show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I haven't watched it, so I have nothing to say. But that sounds interesting.
Yeah, what's the release date supposed to be for? May, did they say, or when's it?
March.
March. Okay,
or March 19th. March 19th. Yeah.
Nice.
That's like a week or two after WandaVision ends.
Is there any chance this is going to set up that show?
I could see maybe one of them being involved. I feel like it has to, because I mean they even already said that War Machine's going to be in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, so that'll set up for the Armor Wars eventually, I'm assuming. So I feel like something's going to happen where it has to be related.
I think it's going to be minimally related. I mean, because it's sort. I think they're setting up other things in the universe. You know, like this is setting up more cosmic kind of repercussions. So that's setting up like the Captain America and Iron Man stuff. You know what I mean?
And what's setting up the Loki show?
This
is setting. What's setting up the Loki show?
I don't think either of them is.
Just the last movie, and that's it.
I think Endgame set up the Loki show.
Okay, so that's the only thing they're doing with it.
Now,
I think she's going to be messing with the different realities, and the Time Variance Authority is going to be like, where are these people going? They're like getting pulled out of different dimensions and parts of different times, and they're going to be like, and I think they're going to be involved. I wouldn't be surprised if you see them in this at the end of the Scarlet Witch movie trying to stop her, because they're like, this is the center, this is where it's coming from. Or Loki shows up and is like, okay, I'm here to like stop her, and then he ends up somehow getting pulled in with Dormammu or whatever, you know. Like I could see that happening 100%, but
that's easy.
We'll see.
You're at the wrong place at the wrong time, sir. And they pull him out again.
Wow, interesting. Yeah, I guess it all remains to be seen. I'm not going to watch the trailer. I'm just going to watch the show and then talk about it. And it'll be fun. But thank you all for taking the time to listen. If you enjoy the episodes, you enjoy Nightcap Chat, leave a review on platforms, especially like iTunes. We really appreciate your feedback. What was your favorite part of the episode? Let us know on social media. You have any episode ideas, shoot us a message on social media. And most importantly, do not forget this Friday.
Yes.
Come watch the Ink and Paint show on the Sidekicks Facebook. It's going to be Blade versus Steve. This is the showdown. It's going to be fun. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be funny. I'll have the link in the podcast description so you can follow that page and watch, because it's going to be fun, right?
Yeah, just try to watch WandaVision right before or after.
Yes, watch it before or after, but don't miss this because it's live. And then you can talk to us in the comments,
Is there a judge? I mean, how are you going to make sure you have an unbiased judge, Blake?
Honestly, I don't.
We don't want this to be decided from like a judge that's biased from the show, and we can't do one of it. So you have to have like
I think it's an
unbiased
like
judge. Okay, so it's trivia. Okay, cool. So
I think it's just
right or wrong answer. Okay, cool.
I think so. I didn't ask too many questions. I just agreed to it.
Yes, dude. So make sure he's not setting you up to make sure there's no way he's got like a, foolproof way of winning no matter what. There's no way that he's gonna, beat you in this.
I'm not gonna get any answers wrong. So it's either I'm gonna win or it's gonna be a tie. And then there has to be a tiebreaker, right? So it's on.
Until every question's about like the Jungle Book or something, you're like, I don't know.
I know what I'm watching tomorrow now.
Because I do hear Steve is like the master of Disney, from what I understand. Like based off of what we talked to him that first time, his whole house is out.
Yeah.
So you gotta like go to some areas where he doesn't enjoy the most, or kind of pick his brain during this week. So what are your, least favorite Disney movies that you thought was just a complete waste of time? Maybe he'll see right through you and just like tell him, well, like that, he's got that over. But I don't know. But I think that you got to have a strategy that is going to throw him off of base.
Well, let's see. He's from Boston, so is there any like New York-based Disney movies that maybe he doesn't like and didn't watch?
Well, I mean, maybe 101 Dalmatians, right? Or
maybe
like the Aristocats.
Aristocrats, yeah.
Maybe
That's his weak point.
Or a lot. Any of those movies like that are like not something crazy. Or like animals. Well, no, those are animals. I mean,
just
New York.
I think probably all of them, right?
Lady in the Tramp.
All the ones that are in cities. Well, yes, that one. Actually, the Aristocrats might be in. No, I'm pretty sure it was New York. I think they had like accents.
All right, I got some watching to do this week. It's on. But yes, it's going to be lots of fun. So please do come and join us. Come out and show your support for Team Blade or Team Steve. But it better be me.
You guys got to start doing prop bets on it too.
Start doing what?
Prop bets.
What is that?
It's kind of like the Super Bowl this past weekend. So like, who's going to get the flip? Like, who's going to get the first answer right or wrong?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you or Steve. Like how many questions are going to be about Fox and the Hound? 2.
You know what I mean? Be winning at halftime.
Yes.
The answers are going to be Blade for most of them, as long as it's who's getting it right.
Like how many Toy Story questions will be asked? About Buzz Lightyear plus or minus 3. Fun stuff like that.
Toy Story. I love Toy Story. Lion King and Toy Story, my 2 favorites.
So those are the things too. It's like that. Yeah, dude. It's like that. Who will miss a question first about their favorite movie?
Oh, Steve.
Okay. Yeah.
Steve. I can tell you guys all these answers too. Just shoot me a message on social media. I'll let you know all of this. I'll let you know exactly what's going to happen. So
that sounds fun.
It's going to be a blast, and I hope you guys are there, and I hope all of you out there listening will also be there. And then just storm the Facebook live feed with hashtag Team Blade. Do that for me.
I can't wait for this. It'll be awesome.
Yes. Ken, little bit about Drona Comics.
Yeah, let's say Drona Comics. We're located in downtown Glendale, Arizona, on 58th Avenue, Glendale. You can find it on DrondaComics.com, Dronda Comics Facebook, Dronda Comics Instagram, and Dronda Comics Twitter. And we are doing our For the Love of Comics Valentine's Week special. So stop in during the week. There's going to be 25% off different items each day. Like DC are going to be Sunday and Monday. Then we're going to do like 25% off of Toys Day, 25% Games Day. And just definitely check it out. We're doing a post about it here this week. And hope you guys enjoy your love of comics and love of your partner during this coming up week. And every day for that matter.
And you can catch me on Twitch at Tales of Lance and Twitter and Instagram at Tales of Lance.
And we are Nightcap Chat. So that's at Nightcap Chat on Twitter and Facebook, and at Nightcap_chat on Instagram. But thank you all for listening. We love you. Be safe. And we will catch you all. It better be this Friday at the Sidekicks thing at Blade vs. Steve. Look at the link in the bio. And then next week.
Thank you all for listening.
Have a good week.